In a letter sent to U.S. President Donald Trump, Venezuela reaffirms its status as a drug-free territory and defended the success of its fight against drug trafficking. As Israel continues its deadly destruction in Gaza, the governments of the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia have officially recognized Palestine as an independent state. And the Israeli occupation army killed 75 Palestinians in the last 24 hours during the bombardments by the Zionist army against the Gaza Strip. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro sent a letter to U.S. President Donald Trump in the framework of military threats in the Caribbean Sea. The letter opened with, "At present, there are many controversies regarding the relationship between the United States and Venezuela. Amidst this controversy, we have observed a proliferation of disinformation. During this initial month of your second administration, we have consistently sought direct communication to address and resolve any issue that arises between our two governments." The letter continues, "In recent weeks, the false accusations of links with mafias and drug trafficking gangs by high-ranking Venezuelan authorities have dominated the news. This is the most egregious instance of disinformation against our nation intended to justify an escalation to armed conflict that would inflict catastrophic damage across the entire continent." The letter added the following: "According to data from the UN and other organizations, as well as corroborated by intelligence agency, 87% of the drugs produced in Colombia are shipped through the Pacific ports, 8% are shipped through the northern Guajira region of Colombia, and only 5% attempt to be transported through Venezuela. However, all drugs seized along the 2,200-kilometer border with Colombia are intercepted and destroyed." The letter highlights it is noteworthy that this year we have already neutralized and destroyed more than 70% of the small amount of drugs attempted to cross the border, which is more than 2,200 kilometers long. In accordance with Venezuelan law, we have destroyed 402 international drug trafficking aircraft. This data confirm Venezuela's impeccable record in the fight against international drug trafficking, as expressed by all international organizations and agencies specialized in the matter. The letter concludes, "I respectfully invite you, President, to promote peace through constructive dialogue and mutual understanding throughout the hemisphere. These and other issues will always be open for a direct and frank conversation with your Special Envoy, Rick Grenell, to overcome media noise and fake news." Let's recall that Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro had announced days ago the sending of such letter. This is what he said at the time.
Ojalá alguien sensato que le llegue al presidente Trump le dé estas cifras.
I hope someone sensible who has access to President Trump will give him these figures. I have them here. I will send them to him. I will send them to President Trump. Because I have said it many times. I respect him. We have had differences, and we still do. Now, none of the differences we have had and continue to have can lead to a high-impact military conflict, violence, in South America, and our America. None. There is no justification. It is not true. It is not true. And I say to the people of the United States, it was not true that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. What they are saying about Venezuela is not true. It is not true. It is a dead end they are getting themselves into. It is a dead end. And Venezuela has always been willing to talk, to engage in dialogue. But just as we are willing to talk and engage in dialogue, we demand respect for our country, for our people. And we will continue to defend the truth about Venezuela, whatever the cost. We will continue to defend the truth about Venezuela,
Cueste lo que cueste.
The Venezuelan Armed Forces offered on Sunday the balance of the Barracks Go to the People Day, which showcased the people's commitment to the defense of the nation's sovereignty. Precisely, the Minister of Defense of the South American country, Vladimir Padrino, gave an assessment of the progress of the exercise that was carried out on September 20th as part of the ongoing military training of the people in defense of the sovereignty and peace of the homeland. Padrino assured the operation was a solid step in the consolidation of the country's popular military thinking. Similarly, the authority praised the unity between the armed forces and the people, which allows them to strengthen the defense of the nation against any threat of foreign invasion.
People were telling me on the street that feeling the armed forces present there, in their workplaces, in their places where they live, was a wonderful experience. And we were also able to see the handover of weapons to the Bolivarian militia in all the squares. Handover of weapons. The weapons of the people.
And in this context, the Venezuelan Defense Minister announced Operation Cumanagoto 200 in the state of Sucre.
A partir de ahora, también siguiendo las instrucciones de nuestro comandante en jefe.
From now on, also following the instructions of our commander-in-chief, we are going to the state of Sucre. To the state of Sucre. With its 15 municipalities, we can see the image there, dividing the state of Sucre into 4 quadrants. 60 rapid response units will occupy the territory of the 15 municipalities of that state, to scan, to survey, to clear the area. We must remember that from Trinidad and Tobago, there is a lot of fuel smuggling, weapons smuggling, ammunition smuggling, and a lot of human trafficking. All of this occurs there, in that axis between Macuro, La Punta, and Trinidad and Tobago. So we are going there to eliminate any terrorist gang, any drug trafficking gang, that is operating illegally in that territory.
Also in Venezuela, the 3rd edition of the International Telecommunications Fair FTS continues on its last day. Let's go with our correspondent, Ana Marrero, for all the details on this important event.
Hello guys, still here at the FTS 2025. We are here at a rooftop because we wanted to show all the place, because this is an incredible view. All the things that we have seen in here, the stuff, the color, the lights, all their things in the stuff, because everything is better than the other, because these are huge improvement for technology and for the people of Venezuela, and also abroad, because this is a fair to support the national and international companies that are here in the country and abroad too, that improve their companies and improve their manufactured and their enterprises, because this is what the government of Venezuela has been doing for these companies, supporting big companies and supporting small companies, because all the Venezuelan people and international people that are here are showing their products or showing their companies to the public and also to other companies, because how they're made businesses like this. This first is to improve their growth and also improve the growth and the economy of the Venezuelan territory. People in here has been coming to learn about technology, telecommunication, about artificial intelligence, about what is the optical fiber, and of course to enjoy this fair, because this is why this fair was made of, to enjoy it, because it's been interesting also for the companies that are here and for the people that came here to learn and to see the things that are here as robots, as I have shown you, because this has been incredible. We saw robots live, and also the fabrical optics that we have battled days ago, and the companies that are here to support the big companies and the small companies and to show the products, because this is why the fair was made, to improve the companies. It doesn't matter if they're big or small, just to improve them, to keep growing as companies. But we will keep informing you on these more things. But we have to be right back to the studios.
Thank you, Anna, for the information. We're going to stay tuned for more updates in upcoming news brief. Let's now take our first break. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English. We'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. In Guinea, over 6.7 million citizens voted for a new constitution to move from military to civilian rule. On Sunday, Guineans voted yes or no on a new constitution that would extend the presidential term from 5 to 7 years, renewable once, and would create a Senate, one-third of whose members would be appointed directly by the president. The national government deployed more than 40,000 security personnel to ensure safety during the elections. Election authorities announced that the results will not be known until Tuesday night. In Brazil, a large fire is affecting an area of the Ipanema National Forest located in the interior of Sao Paulo. The fire has spread across an area of the municipalities of Aracoiba da Serra and Ipero, according to the Chico Mendes Institute, the National Forest Brigade, the Fire Department, Civil Defense, and National Forest volunteers have been mobilized to fight the flames. Created in 1992, the Ipanema National Forest is a federal conservation unit administered by the Chico Mendes Institute for Biodiversity Conservation. Its creation was part of the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, ECO 92. And in Honduras, the National Risk and Contingency Management Agency issued warnings of heavy rains in 8 departments of the country. The Center for Atmospheric, Oceanographic, and Seismic Studies warned that a surface throughout will generate heavy cloud over rain and light to moderate rainfall with thunderstorms in most of the country. The heaviest accumulations are expected on Saturday, September 20th in the eastern, western, and central regions, and on Sunday, September 21st in the south, west, and center. At the same time, the National Directorate of Ocean, Marine, and Port Authorities should restrict the navigation of small and medium-sized vessels while adverse conditions persist. And in Indonesia, the Lewotobe Laki-Laki volcano located in the Flores Island, east of the country, has erupted several times since Friday night, prompting authorities to raise the alert level to Category 4. Volcanic activity has continued with new explosions and a 2.5-kilometer column of ash and smoke, leading to a preventive evacuation and restricted access around the crater due to the risk of landslides. The France Seda airport has been temporarily closed while the Bali International Airport continues to operate normally. Residents and tourists have been urged to pay attention to official reports and to follow safety instructions. In Russia, Vietnam was consecrated as the winner of Intervision 2025 International Music Contest, where 22 nations from 4 continents competed through culture and their local rhythms. In a gala held at the Live Arena in Moscow, artists from around the world attended the event, which aims to give a space to art and musical expressions from the Global South. After a panel of 23 musical experts from around the world casted votes, Vietnam, represented by singer Duc Phuc, presented a theme inspired by a Vietnamese epic poem that refers to the struggle and resistance of that country, winning the festival. For its part, Colombia, represented by singer Nidia Góngora and her son, with Afro-Pacific rhythms in the mangroves, got the fourth place, being the best position of Latin America in the contest. And Brazil held the 8th edition of 1,000 Guitars for Victor Jara, where the public enjoyed artistic performances such as music, dance, and poetry. The initiative, organized by the Dando Music Circuit in collaboration with the Violeteras Collective and the Entre Latinos group, seeks to preserve the legacy of one of the outstanding figures of the social struggle in Chile and Latin America through art and politics. During the event, the public enjoyed artistic expressions such as music, dance, poetry, and visual arts, as well as book, crafts, and food fare. The event originated in Chile to pay tribute to the memory of Chilean activist Victor Jara, who was murdered by the dictatorship in 1973 during Augusto Pinochet's military coup. Now, for our second break coming up, we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. If you want a break, don't go away. Welcome back. As Israel continues its deadly destruction in Gaza, the governments of the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia have officially recognized Palestine as an independent state. The decision made the number of countries recognizing the statehood of Palestine increase to more than 150. The prime ministers of the three nations released statements backing their decision, which had been warned about weeks earlier. The move comes 2 days before the start of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, where Palestinian sovereignty after decades of occupation and apartheid by Israel will be in focus.
I set out in July the terms upon which we would act in line with our manifesto to recognise Palestinian statehood. That moment has now arrived. So today, to revive the hope of peace and a two-state solution, I state clearly, as Prime Minister of this great country, that the United Kingdom formally recognises the state of Palestine.
And the Israeli occupation army killed 75 Palestinians in the last 24 hours during the bombardments by the Zionist army against the Gaza Strip. Health authorities report that more than 300 Palestinians were wounded and were transferred to the nearest hospital for medical attention. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council reiterated a call for an immediate ceasefire, while the International Court of Justice urged the adoption of measures to prevent genocide and to alleviate the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. Since October 2023, more than 65,290 people were killed by the Israeli occupying forces, mostly women and children. In this context, over 1,600 healthcare workers were reportedly killed by the Israeli army in the Gaza Strip in an attack that health authorities described as a serious violation of the principle of medical neutrality and protection of healthcare personnel. They warned that Israel has arrested more than 360 health workers since the beginning of the Zionist genocide against the Gaza Strip. They also condemned the forced displacement of residents as part of a ground offensive to recapture the area. Meanwhile, Pope Leo XIV condemned the forced displacement of thousands of Palestinians amid Israeli policies of siege against the Gaza Strip. The Supreme Pontiff of the Catholic Church expressed his solidarity with the Palestinian people and warned that there is no future built on violence, forced exile, and revenge. The Catholic leader reiterated his call for a ceasefire in the face of the genocide by the Israeli occupation of the Palestinians. He further underlined his closeness to the coastal enclave and recognize their struggles to survive in the midst of the inhumane conditions in which they live.
Dear friends, members of Catholic organizations providing humanitarian aid to Gaza, I appreciate your initiative and the many other actions throughout the Church that express closeness to the brothers and sisters who suffer in that martyred land. With you and with the pastors of the churches of the Holy Land, I repeat, there is no future based on violence, forced exile, or revenge.
Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. Join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.